Hey folks, today let's talk about the habits of naturally skinny people. I am not naturally skinny. I actually lost 170 pounds following a ketogenic lifestyle. I lost that weight in 2 years. And so I'm really interested in weight loss. And I've been noticing with the people around me who are naturally skinny, what they do and kind of what their natural secrets are. So here are just some observations that I have noticed from people in my life who are naturally slender. I find that when it comes to eating food, naturally slender people find satisfaction in their meals in different ways. For people who are overweight like I used to be and struggle with the food issues that I still deal with, I find most of my satisfaction in feeling really full. It's true. I love a good full stomach. It's something I still struggle with, and I try and find healthier ways to achieve that, like having really big vegetable sides with my meat dishes. But what I've noticed from naturally slender people is that they find more satisfaction in more taste differences in their meals. So they'll eat what they want, but they find happiness more through the different tastes than in that big volume full stomach feeling. I've also noticed that slender people snack differently. They will snack when they feel this ravenous hunger, and then they'll only take what they need to make that ravenous hunger go away. Somebody like me who struggles with just overeating in general, and yes, sometimes binging on snacky foods, when I have that ravenous hunger feeling, will just binge on the snacks until I'm full. And then it'll be mealtime, like, I don't know, a couple hours later, and then so I've just overeaten all of my calories for the day, which sucks. I hate that. So they're finding ways to kill that ravenous hunger until it's an actual mealtime. So maybe they're still slightly hungry an hour later, but they're not feeling that physical discomfort in their stomach. And again, they're eating snacks that they want, so they're satisfying those tastes. Maybe it is a little handful of nuts, or maybe even like some M&Ms or something, or a bite of a candy bar. But they're eating so small that that hunger's gone for a moment, and then they forget about it, or it's gonna be time to eat dinner, but they're still eating foods that they like, so they feel satisfied. I have noticed, and it really makes me angry, and I wish I had this skill, but I have noticed that people who are naturally slender get distracted away from their food while they're eating. When I sit down to eat, I'm so focused on my food. Yeah, maybe the TV's on, but I'm just like, yes, this is it. I've been waiting for this dinner all day, looking forward to it. My mind is just, focused on what I'm about to eat. And then I'm a little sad that I'm done eating, which is also like a thing I have to work on. But for naturally slender or skinny people, I have noticed that when the plate of food is in front of them, maybe they are really hungry, they will take several bites and then they'll watch TV, or they'll look at their phone, or they'll get distracted by a conversation. I don't know. Or they'll start walking around and just kind of forget that they were in the middle of a meal. And I know that the experts say not to eat distracted. Mireille Guiliano, the author of French Women Don't Get Fat, says Americans eat so distracted, and maybe that's not a good thing. But I've noticed that if you are super hyper focused on your food and you make that just like your priority throughout the day and when you're eating, maybe we do have food issues for people that, just focus on the food. Maybe it's good not to focus on the food so much, but I have noticed that slender people can get really distracted while they're eating because food's not like the main thing on their mind. And for somebody like me, it is. I gotta learn to work on that too. Be more distracted from food. Now, obviously, slender people are probably going to just be more active, day to day. But I have noticed that they actually enjoy things that are like more active, like actually moving around, and I'm contrasting that with moments where I would just be like sitting and eating. So for example, a fun thing for me to do is to go out to a restaurant and dress up real cute, have a few drinks, and eat some good food. That's what I want to do all the time. Naturally slender people grew up with other things to focus on, other activities. For me, going out to eat is a fun activity. I didn't really have those experiences growing up where I found other things to actively do. So for example, if they like to go hiking or kayaking or playing pool or playing pinball machines or going to the arcade or like Dave & Buster's or something, or working out, it's just they have so many ways to find enjoyment in active, leisurely activities that I never really found joy in. Although I'm experiencing it now, and I'm kind of grateful that I've been exposed to that. So yeah, naturally slender people obviously find ways to enjoy themselves that don't really revolve around food. Ugh, I need to learn so much. I have noticed that naturally slender people have a really good sleep schedule. I mean, they will be in bed by like 9 or 10 at the latest. When I tell people that sometimes I'm like falling asleep by like 11:30 or 12, or I'm just going to bed at 11:30 or 12, and I get up at like 6 every morning, they're like, how are you functioning? I don't know, but I'm real tired all the time, so I'm sure it doesn't help anything. But if you're going to bed at a reasonable hour, that cuts out so much nighttime snacking and binging. I have a real big issue with that. I'll do great all day, and then at night, whoop, there are the peanuts, whoop, there are the pecans, whoop, let me just pull some hot peppers, whoop, I've ruined my, calorie limit for the day, let me just make a snack, or a whole nother meal, I don't know. Don't judge me. So I found that naturally slender people do often have a good sleep schedule, and they go to bed when they're tired instead of eating. When it comes to skinny people, I have noticed that they really do not like the feeling of being stuffed. They do not find enjoyment in like a belly bulge and like feeling sluggish or weighed down by all the food that they ate. And they talk about how feeling full affects them negatively, whether it be heartburn or feeling sluggish or having stomach issues because they ate so much. So when it comes to overeating for me, I just focus on that enjoyment with the food and that full stomach feeling that I find comfort in. But for them, it's almost painful. It means that they are going to have to physically deal with an issue later on. Naturally skinny people also have a really great ability to recognize when they're hungry and not hungry. And I know that sounds like, duh, Allie. I mean, people who are overweight obviously do not recognize that full feeling. But the thing is, I think I do. One time recently, I got some sashimi, and I was about halfway through the dish of sashimi. It was like 15 pieces, and I was noticing that I really wasn't hungry anymore. And I didn't really want to eat anymore. And I was like, well, I spent all this money because sashimi is not the cheapest thing. And if I put it in the fridge, it won't be as good the next day. And I'm already out and I want to just enjoy it while I'm out. So I stuffed that sashimi down my gullet. Even though I was already satisfied and getting on the brink of uncomfortably full. I mean, I had like a salad appetizer beforehand too. So it was a lot of food that I didn't really want. Now, contrast to the person that I was eating with who had ordered 3 or 4 sushi rolls. And after taking a couple bites of one of the rolls, they were like, man, my eyes were bigger than my stomach. I'm just not hungry. And they didn't eat the rest of it. They took it home. They didn't make the excuse that the dang sushi rice was not going to be as good the next day. I was just eating raw fish and the sashimi, and I was like, oh, it won't be that great in the fridge. I'm sure it would have been better than the leftover sushi. But I was making excuses to eat the food. They make excuses not to feel bad. They make the excuses to stop when they're satisfied. And that just might go into like some childhood stuff. Maybe I'm afraid of food running out. Maybe I'm afraid of spending money and not getting my full money's worth when I go out. I don't know. But those are just, things you got to look at for yourself. Where are these food issues coming from? I have noticed that so many naturally skinny people drink so many fluids, and I try. I really try, y'all. I bought this big old water bottle last year, and I was gonna take it with me to work. It was actually too big, so then I went back to my smaller one. Anyway, the point is, yeah, I try and stay hydrated. I try and have things that I really want to drink around, but a lot of the time, I don't drink enough fluids. And whether a skinny person's just drinking water or like unsweetened tea, or black coffee, that doesn't matter. Even if they're drinking sugary things, that's still less calories that they're consuming because they're not going to have a big snack. They're not eating 400 or 500 calories. They might just be consuming 120 calories in a soda or something. I'm not saying soda's great or not, I talk keto, so for me it's out of the picture, but they're just staying hydrated more, which I definitely think helps with keeping that hunger and that feeling like you need to eat feeling at bay. I live in the South and it's hot, y'all. I need to drink more water. Whew. I have noticed that when skinny people get hungry, they get really hungry. And for me, hunger is tied to emotion, and for them, it's tied to physical pain. So for people who have food issues, we struggle with food, they might get hangry. I get so hangry and I feel anxious, like I'm not going to be able to find food and I need to eat all this food now because I won't be able to eat it later, and I have so many emotions. But when it comes time to eat for skinny people, they're just like, oh man, I'm starving. Oh man, I feel so weak. Like it's physical reactions to feeling hungry that they sense, where I'm over here being all emotional about my meals. So I'm trying to, recognize like actual hunger. I'm trying to recognize when, it's not dinner time or I'm not ready to make a meal, just like satisfy that ravenous hunger with just like a little tiny snack instead of giving myself a full serving of pecans when, a little handful will do. It's so much that goes into weight loss and maintenance. Oh, I'm just analyzing everything that I do at this point. But that's how you grow, I suppose. I don't know. So for naturally skinny people, hunger is physical. It's a physical sensation. For people who might have issues overeating, it's probably much more emotional. And you've got to figure out what those emotions are. For me, it's like, I can't wait to eat, or I get really hangry and moody, and then I'm sad that my meal's over. So I really need to switch over to the physical sensations of hunger and feeling satisfied without feeling stuffed. So for me, what am I trying to learn from, witnessing these naturally skinny people eat? So much. But I'm going to focus on 3 things. I want to eat more intuitively, which means instead of like when I want a snack, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to, measure out 28 grams of nuts, I'm going to say, you know what? I wonder if I'll feel more satisfied just taking a little handful, which would be less than 28 grams of nuts, and just kind of like chew it up, let it sit in my stomach. Would that satisfy that ravenous hunger a little bit until it's time to eat? I'm really trying to get away from portions. I want to focus on portion control, but I want to get away from like calculated portions because I think that causes me to overeat sometimes. It's like if you've ever heard people say, if you eat one of those snack size bags of potato chips, you might actually end up eating more than if you just reached your hand into a big bag of potato chips and then went on your way. Because that snack size is already portioned out, so you're just gonna finish it. If you know what I'm saying. I wanna work on that. I really need to recognize when I'm sleepy versus when I'm hungry and just go to bed. Oh man, I need to just like brush my teeth and go to bed. But it's a process now because ever since I had my dental surgery last year, it's just, I have to be so, involved with my teeth at night. So I'm just like putting it off because it's such a chore. I know. First world problems. And I really need to recognize how overeating makes me feel. If I do overeat on calories and not intentionally on carbs or something, if I have 30 or 40 grams of carbs, in like a bingey type night, I do feel it the next day. I get the carb sweats, for goodness sakes. I feel sweaty and I feel gross and I feel bloated and I feel like I have all this water weight on me and I hate that feeling. And I'm really trying to focus on the negatives of overeating for myself, like the skinny people do, instead of that momentary bliss of just eating what I want or whatever portion I want. Well, folks, those are just some things that I've noticed about the differences between when naturally skinny people eat and when people who struggle with food eat. And really, I'm just giving my own experience for the people who struggle with food. But I'm sure it could be universal for a lot of those issues that we have when it comes to food. But please, if you have noticed any differences in how naturally skinny people eat versus people who might be overweight or have food issues, please let me know down below if I didn't touch on it because I love hearing about this. Please let me know. I am so interested. I want to learn those habits. If I haven't witnessed it, I probably didn't talk about it in this video, so please let me know what you have seen or experienced. I'm almost done with my website. Some people comment like, Allie, I clicked your blog link, but it didn't work. I know, it's been offline for like 6 months, but I am so close to being done. So give me a few more days and that will be done too. But I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did enjoy it, please do not forget to like and subscribe. That would help me out so much. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, I will link all of that down below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Allie. Have a good one. Bye.